I declare open this congregation of the University of Sussex. I'm delighted as Chancellor to welcome you formally to this graduation ceremony. The warmest of welcomes to our honoured guests, our distinguished faculty members, and to those of the professional services here at Sussex. But the warmest of welcomes are for you, our graduands, and your families and friends who join you here today. And also to friends and family who couldn't be here today and are watching on live stream around the world. To you I say, bonjour, willkommen, como stai, hola, dobry den, privyet, marhaba, salam alaikum, jambo, shalom, namaskar, ni hao, konnichiwa, oi, hey, hi, howdy, and hello. A massive thank you to the ITS technical team for making that live stream possible. It is a profound honour for us that you chose Sussex as your place of study, and that, as I've just illustrated, graduands from all over the world will be receiving their degrees at these ceremonies. To our foreign students, I'd like to say thank you for playing your part in making us a truly global university. I know how hard it can be to travel so far at such expense, and to try and get to grips with a different culture, language, and sometimes a different set of values and modes of behavior, and to overcome those hurdles of unfamiliarity and homesickness, to remain focused and resolute. You've been a credit to the university, your families, and your countries. To our homegrown graduands, thank you for confounding the oft-taken view in wider society about the contribution of young people. I still occasionally hear that university is an excuse for young people to drink, carouse for a few years, and delay the moment that real life takes over. This lazy view precludes the fact that many of you have had to persevere through your own personal difficulties to get to this stage today, struggling to balance your studies with home life, in some cases whilst raising children, experiencing loss, sickness, and trying to survive on overdrafts, loans, or family help. I have to confess, I'm not a shining example of academic prowess. I struggled through most of my education and through my degree as well, so I hope I have some empathy with what some of you have gone through. In fact, one of my dad's friends, I remember when I was younger and I said I wanted to go to university and get a degree, his reaction was, why do you want to go to university, eh? You want to waste your time, grow your hair long, and listen to Mozart? I said, yes, perhaps if I was thinking of going to university in the 18th century, but I didn't give up, and neither did you. Today marks a watershed in your life story so far. The volume marked the academic years. Some of you will be going on to further academic study, but for the majority, the conclusion of these ceremonies will bring to a close your formal education. A story that began all those years ago on that first day of nursery or kindergarten, as you cried with confusion, as your parents abandoned you, and then they pretended to look upset and went home and had a party. Through all those years of early school where you brought home your art, splodges of misshapen paint with bits of glitter and cotton wool that your family treated like it was a Jackson Pollock and stuck on the kitchen wall. And over the years, you continued to bring home these pastel abominations, and it's safe to say that your families treated all of them as a load of Pollocks. Then came the joy of the teenage years, growing bones, hormones, sarcastic tones, mobile phones, and then the pressure of all those exams that would determine your future. And then partying too hard, drinking too much, not enough sleep, relationships, rejection, confusion, and then came Sussex. Gentle study, juice bars, chess clubs, knitting classes, and the occasional ice cream on the beach. And through all of this, your family and friends have been there all the way. They've been rooting for you, supporting you, and perhaps sacrificing for you in ways that you may not even be aware of, and I know are bursting with pride at your achievements today. So graduands and lecturers, a round of applause for the families and friends. So you may well be thinking at this point, yeah, get on with it. I mean, all we want to do is get across the stage without losing our hats or tripping over our gowns and landing in someone's lap on the front row. What a choice of laps you have today. All those capes and gowns. It's like the Avengers. Age of retirement. Finally, on a technical note, I don't care whether you've been up here before, how old you are, how brainy brilliant you are, or anything. You haven't actually got your degrees yet. You are graduands, not graduates. And you getting one may just depend on how much love you show me when you come up here. No love, no degree. This is a joyous occasion, so feel free to express your joy, your relief, who you are when you come up onto this stage in any way you want, as long as it's legal and within the bounds of taste. Families and friends, a note to you as well. This is your day too. and it's a glorious opportunity as well to really embarrass your loved ones as they come up here. They did it enough times to you over the years. This is payback time. So feel free to make as much noise and let them know where you are. Do have your cameras ready. And as I said, do make as much noise as you like as your superhero crosses the stage. And occasionally people are here without family or friends. And I just want to say to you, if you're in that situation, I'll be your family or friend today, so you're not alone. I call upon the Vice-Chancellor to address the congregation.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Brighton, Madam Mayor, Avengers, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Not bad, not bad. You're supposed to have warmed them up, Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Fantastic. Well, it's a real pleasure for me to add my welcome to you all to this graduation ceremony. Graduation is one of the highlights of the academic year, and it's a time when we on stage, family and friends in the auditorium, can truly celebrate your success. Now, although graduation has its formal aspects, and you may have noticed that we've all made a bit of an effort and dressed up for the occasion, as the Chancellor has indicated, it's also a time to relax and have fun. You can let the emotions flow and do pretty much whatever you like within the confines that he set a few moments ago. So for a special day, we're in a special place, the Brighton Dome. This historic building, conceived by King George IV, started life as the Royal Stables and Riding House. It's been a hospital and an operating theatre through 2 world wars, hosted the Eurovision Song Contest in 1974, which was won by ABBA with their song. Fantastic. And has had many famous visitors, including one of our former Prime Ministers, Winston Churchill. Amongst our graduates here today, I'm absolutely certain that there are many who will also go on to even greater things than these previous visitors to this space. Sussex has always celebrated the diversity of its students and staff. During these graduation ceremonies this week, we will meet students from 158 different countries, with ages ranging from 19 to 65. Education is for everyone at any age. There were just 52 students at Sussex when it opened in 1961. Now we have almost 14,000 students. And over this week, there will be almost 3,000 undergraduates walking across this stage, just shy of 600 postgraduates, and about 9,000 family and friends supporting them. Today is a special day for many reasons, and one which personally means a great deal to me and is a significant one for the university, as 1,200 of our graduands, our undergraduates, are first-generation scholars. That means they are the first in their family to go to university. I'm very proud of the university's commitment to both recruiting and then providing additional financial and pastoral support to these students. We were disturbed last week by the announcement of the loss of the non-repayable maintenance grants that were aimed to support this group of students, and we will continue to make the case for the special needs of this group. In response, Sussex will be providing some additional financial support for those in the lowest income group. Now, I want to spend just a few minutes talking to you about 4 aspects of Sussex life and why I know our graduating students will go on to great things. Firstly, we can be absolutely certain that our graduates have excellent prospects. They're highly employable and have a rounded view of life. We know that leaving university and finding a job can be challenging times for our graduates. However, we're extremely pleased that Sussex is ranked 4th in the UK for employability. A recent study has found that 96% of Sussex graduates are either in work or further study within 6 months of graduating. This suggests that not only do we attract outstanding students at the start, but that a Sussex experience provides a good start to their working life. We do go that extra mile to help our students have a fulfilling time at university. We believe that, for instance, experiences outside the main study area, including gaining competence in one or more foreign languages, are important for the broader personal development that employers are seeking. Our internship program is developing well, and we keep adding to this year on year, with our latest being a fully supported placement scheme in China. I hope that some of you have taken the opportunity to complete an internship, whether it's here in the UK or abroad. The university also offers an outstanding range of master's scholarships for those that are thinking of postgraduate studies. And we've already awarded twice the number of Sussex graduate scholarships that we awarded last year. This is really good for our graduates wishing to continue in further study at a time when we know that financial pressures are high. Interdisciplinarity, that is teaching and research that crosses the standard disciplinary boundaries, was one of the founding principles of Sussex back in the 60s. This broad-ranging and rounded view of life is very much part of the Sussex tradition. We pride ourselves on the way in which we have built many interdisciplinary centres of expertise, whether that's in climate change, global health, or neuroscience. In addition, we encourage our students to take courses and combine with their course subject other, often unrelated subjects. Our focus is an holistic one. And we also promote this principle as we develop new spaces, such as the Attenborough Centre for the Creative Arts, which I believe will fast become the heartbeat of the campus and a place for all of our students to study and socialise. Secondly, we should always remember that Sussex students and staff have a history of changing things for the better. Sussex has an outstanding reputation for world-leading research, and many of you here today have contributed to this. We're making a difference to people's lives, whether this is in policy, in developing countries, or in digitising history. 98% of our research is world-leading. And it's increasingly important for us to be able to show that our research has impact beyond academia by showing that we're making a real difference to people's lives and to society in general. Thirdly, I'm very proud of our international perspective. It makes the Sussex experience special. We've had an international outlook since the university started more than 50 years ago. Around 25% of our current students are from overseas, and teaching and research staff come to us from more than 120 different countries. All of you have helped create this diverse global community on campus, which I hope has added positively to your experience at Sussex. Sussex has a reputation for being a place where people from all over the world can make friends easily. Last year, the university teamed up with the Students' Union to host One World Week, a celebration of international diversity and a way to promote understanding of global issues. It was such a success that we're committed to making it now an annual event. We've created partnerships with some distinguished institutions across the world, including universities in North America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. These relationships have facilitated new research collaborations and new opportunities for student exchange and joint teaching programs. Finally, I would say that although we think globally, we also act locally. And our village-like campus has created a very special community at the university. The university contributes about £500 million each year to the Brighton and Hove economy, and this will continue to increase as the university grows in coming years. This is not just because the university is the second biggest employer in the region, but because of you, our students who live, work, and socialise in the area. But it's the personal contribution that our students make that I'm most proud of. I know that many of you do volunteer work in the local community. In fact, you do far more than the average citizen. Some of you tutor school children, particularly the disadvantaged, and others of you are just good neighbours or work hard at part-time jobs. For family and friends that are here with you, I know they will be extremely proud to share this moment with you. I want to give special thanks to all of those important people who have supported you during your years of study. As you look back at your time at Sussex and university life, I hope that you will have fond memories and a real sense of what you can achieve. Education is no longer a privilege for the very few. It has become a fundamental right for the many, and I hope soon for all. It can help to inspire intellectual curiosity and provide us with the foundation to achieve great things at work, at home, and for our communities and society in general. It allows us to consider big issues from different perspectives and to challenge them. It introduces us to new concepts, new people, and new ways of thinking. What is critical for us, however, is to listen to what our students say about their time at university. So we've put together a short film in which you, our students, reflect on their Sussex experience, consider the future, and say a farewell message.
Overwhelmed and excited.
Felt very, very anxious.
I remember crying.
Confident.
A bit homesick.
I was excited.
Curious.
On my very first day of university, when my mum and dad drove away, it was the most scary and daunting thing probably, yeah.
Hungover.
Tired.
A little bit more comfortable.
Slightly more ease.
I was starting to feel at home.
I was ready to get to work.
So on my second day of university, I felt like I could do anything.
Most likely Falmouth Bar.
Eastlow Bar.
Tenancy because it's full of maths people.
Probably the Co-op.
All the green space outside.
Room 5C11, because I've spent hundreds of hours studying there.
More fun than I expected.
Very enjoyable.
Fulfilling.
Challenging.
Thorough.
Hands-on.
Supportive.
High quality.
Hard work. The staff always have time for you.
How to cook.
Learning to do my laundry.
Be more self-confident.
Well, just do everything you can today and don't leave it for tomorrow.
No one's going to motivate you other than you.
The biggest life lesson I've learned since coming to university is you don't know everything when you're 18.
I got a first-generation scholarship which helped me secure an internship. Working with leading researchers over the summer.
Giving me a degree.
The importance of having really good friends.
It's given me a lot of self-confidence so I can get out there and meet new people.
Excited.
Nostalgic. Apprehensive. I'm scared that I might fall over on stage. Sad but reflective.
Excited I got to conquer law.
Proud.
Proud to be the smartest dressed I've ever been whilst at Sussex.
I'm going to be teaching maths.
Marine biology abroad.
I've got a place on a graduate scheme at HM Revenue and Customs.
I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it.
I want to be a barrister, so I'm going on to study the BPTC.
I found out today that I got the graduate job that I wanted.
Maybe marriage.
Always been poor.
Student landlords.
Dirty kitchens. Don't use the vending machines in Silverstone, they will steal your change.
Assignments.
Exams.
No, I'm going to miss everything.
Getting to know myself better.
Handling my final year project.
Being chair rep of life sciences.
Tying in Holy 2015 with One World Week.
Graduating.
Well done. Good luck for the future.
Well done for getting through and good luck for everything in the future.
Congratulations to everybody who's graduating this year.
I want to say congratulations to all of us. We finally did it.
Well done for all the hard work.
Well done and congratulations.
It was lovely to meet you all and I hope we stay in contact.
Well done, guys, we did it.
A big thanks to all of you who took part in the film and to our communications team who put it together. So, as you continue to make your way in the world and carve out your own path, I hope that Sussex will always be part of your consciousness. And just as Sussex stands for authentic and spirited thinking, I hope that you will take some of this philosophy and become successful in whichever way you choose. Remember, you will always be part of the Sussex family. You will, of course, be joining an illustrious group of alumni, many of whom have made major contributions to the worlds of politics, government, academia, the creative industries, business, international development, health, and so on. You name it, and you will find Sussex graduates worldwide changing lives and making an impact. Our alumni relations team will make sure we stay in contact wherever you might be in the future. At the founding of the university, our first Vice-Chancellor, John Fulton, said that education at Sussex was making the future. This is an ambition which we still hold close to our hearts and encourage you to do the same. Make the future for yourselves and your family. Help make the future for our world. Now is the time to be confident, to be brave, and to be open to the endless possibilities that life has to offer. I wish all of you every good fortune for your chosen futures and hope that your experience at Sussex has gone some way to prepare you for the next stage of your life. My very best wishes to you all. I call upon the head of the School of Life Sciences, Professor Lawrence Pearl.
Chancellor, I present to you, for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry, Owen Addis. Syed Mohsin Attari. James Barker. Also awarded the School Prize for Biochemistry, Thomas Burgess. Mathilde Frontini. Alexander Gorman. Arnold Kaloki. Ella Lynham. Marterek Meotz. Andrew McGregor. Jordan Mehmet. Daryl Ronato. Maximilian Rodier Bautzer. Christopher Smith. Emma Thomas. Emma Titmus. Zoe Trifonos. Hildegonda Winstra. Alexander Wilkins. Kate Young. For biochemistry with an industrial placement year, Jack Ambrose. Louisa Wilson. For biology, Monica Amaral de Paula Souza. Hannah Amos. Melissa Aston. Jessica Austin. Thomas Beer. Sarah Campanales Planas. Georgina Clark. Lauren Cole. Madeline Cooper. Clara Dean. Charlie Dixon. Georgina Edwards. Jonathan Forsyth. Craig Gazzard. Annie Greenfield. Katie Hall. Louisa Holland. Also awarded the School Prize for Biology, Maria Hyatt. Michael Kramartz. Also awarded the Wiley Blackwell Prize for Ecology and Conservation, Ellie Lehman. Charles Linton. Samantha Lovell. Alexander Lunn. Elizabeth Michalak. Harriet Muir-Little. Kim Ungwin. James Quinn. Ella Ray. Frederick Reshwam. Fairby Ross. Charlotte Sellen. Harrison Tan. Sarah Willis. Also awarded the John Maynard Smith Prize for Evolutionary Biology, Katie Wright. Nicola Wright. For biomedical science, Temitope Adesete. Uluaku Ahunanya. Viknesh Kumar Akilan. Robin Aldridge. Priya Amin. Connor Ashley. Emma Louise Orty. Jade Barker. Lara Bodan. Lucy Bodan. Jessica Baxter. Connor Beanie. Nicholas Beach. Justina Beckett. Victoria Barrow. Ashley Carver. Tarandeep Chima. Charlie Davis. Nidhi Desai. Amy Dodd. Ahmad Ebadi. Tracy Ehima. Joanna Elliott. Georgina Evans. Zoe Evison. Michaela Frixu. Alicia File. Hannah Gray. Philippa Groom. Claire Hancock. Kirsty Harper. Annabelle Newson. Oliver Ingham Clark. Chidubem Iwobi. Dima Jalad. Joshua Kaplan. Mirto Katraki. Harry Kent. Sabrina Lake. Emma Lyons. Valentina Mancini. James Matheson. Delaram Mostofi Zadeh. Derek Netty. Pauline Ing. Ariane Nikab. Pamela Enweki. Juachi Enzelibe. Aaron Palmer. Also awarded the School Prize for Biomedical Science and the School Prize for Best Final Year Life Science Performance, Shrina Patel. Kate Preston. Lucy Robson. Tatiana Sarfati. Charlotte Smirk. Bethany Suter. Charna Stark. Grayson Stuckey. Christina Shabo. Abigail Thane. Joanna Vidal. Rihanna Warren. Cherry Webster. Emma Westhorpe. Catherine Wildbohr. Joseph Wilkins. Victoria William. For chemistry, Lewis Austin. David Berger. Jason Bywaters. Kiara Crosby. Georgia Egner. James Gilmore. Thomas Hackney. William Hargreaves. Philip Hughes. Michaela Joseph. Victoria Keeble. Megan Keswick Phillip. Levi Lane. Also awarded the school prize for Chemistry BSc, Eve Morrison. Melanie Pigeon. Emily Radley. Chloe Robert. Stephen Scott. Gabriella Tarrant. Also awarded the Louis Gross Prize for Best Third Year BSc Chemistry Performance, Lewis Ward. For Ecology and Conservation, Rosalie Brooks. Alice Crutchfield. Theodore Dyer. Also awarded the school prize for Ecology and Conservation, Rhiannon Glure. Carolina Gurjazkate. Bailey Hemphill. Piotr Shota. Sian Walding. For medical neuroscience, Rebecca Champion. Gabriela Chavez. Carlotta Constable. Brian E. Damont. Marie-Louise Dicou. Oscar Ferguson. Alice Francis. Desiree File. Christina Hanwell. Angeli Anson. Jonathan Kamara. Lewis MacLeod. Anastasia McNarton. Louisa Mang. Also awarded the School Prize for Neuroscience, Samantha McCann. Hannah Miller. Natalie Rich. Celine Rood. Joshua Tui. For molecular medicine, Bharavi Sugumar. For neuroscience, Noni Alexander. Bilal Asser. Zachary Bellman. You're welcome. Luca Biasetti. Samuel Bolitho. Alice Budden. Jake Bush. Abina Kane Goldsmith. Harry Clark. Shauna Crampsey. Harriet Gibbard. Arjun Gupta. Jack Hayward. Ella Hill. Christina Idowu. Aviv Kader. Eloise Keeling. Kieran Kelly. Abigail Kennedy. Glenn Marsh. Agnes McIlvenny. Mark Muller-Nielsen. Daniel Mullally. Evelyn Mulvin. Spencer Murphy. Syed Nakib. Philip Pincus. Edward Richards. Rhiannon Ripley. Also awarded the Scientifica Prize for Neuroscience, Hannah Roche Newton. Laurie Salt. Bethany Scarrott. Helen Schmidt. James Seddon. Stephen Shoebridge. Hannah Stratton. Madison Taylor. Amy Thomas. For neuroscience with cognitive science, Emmeline Brown. Giulietta Contaguri. Gaston Goldstein. Felix Kern. Léa Morsaline. Sergio Rossoni. Elena Russman. For the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, Hayden Barclay. Benjamin Burkhoff. Sarah Cross. Richard Dixie. Luke Evans. Joshua Fellows. Edward Hills. Bailey McLean. James Martin. Al-Nafis Mazri. Riley Moole. Leanne Pentecost. Also awarded the McQuitty Prize for Highest Achieving Science Graduand, the School Prize for M-Chem, and the Royal Society of Chemistry Downland Prize for Best M-Chem Poster, Charles Redman. Also awarded the Murrell Prize for Theoretical Chemistry at Master's level, Luke Rhodes. Jonathan Simmons. Ying Si. Robert Winnells. Peter Winrow. For chemistry with an industrial placement year, Charles Barty King. For the degree of Master of Science in Genetic Manipulation and Molecular Cell Biology, Matthew Massett. Daisy Shirley. Chancellor, I will now present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. For the thesis, the molecular regulation of Hox gene RNA processing during Drosophila embryonic development, Cassandra Edelweiss Vilava Robles.
Congratulations.
For the thesis, N-heterocyclic carbene palladium and copper complexes in cross-coupling reactions, Christopher Gallup. For the thesis, organouranium complexes for the insertion and reduction of small molecules, Jessica Higgins. For the thesis, investigating the steric and electronic effects of low-valent uranium complexes on the activation of small molecules, Rachel Kahan. For the thesis, bimetallic complexes of D and F block metals with pentylene ligands, Alexander Kilpatrick. For the thesis, cellular reprogramming by Epstein-Barr virus nuclear antigens, Michael McLennan. For the thesis, synthesis of novel porous nanostructures via template-directed methods and applications in photovoltaics, Ali Sharouzi. For the thesis, an investigation into the function of sumylation and of NSE2 and PCNA in S. Pombi, Lawrence Small. For the thesis, the effect of in situ heterogeneity of lead in soil on plant uptake, Grace Oyiza Solomon Wisdom. Oh, thank you. For the thesis, the organometallic chemistry of conjugated low-coordinate phosphocarbon compounds, Nicola Tretherne. Chancellor, this concludes the list of graduands from the School of Life Sciences.
I call upon Professor Malcolm Reed, Dean of the Brighton and Sussex Medical School, to present Professor Alice Roberts.
Chancellor, Alice Roberts is a renowned anatomist, osteoarchaeologist, physical anthropologist, paleopathologist, broadcaster and author. She is Professor of Public Engagement in Science at the University of Birmingham. As a practicing surgeon myself, I have a long-term professional and personal interest in anatomy and have been aware of Professor Roberts' impact on the public perception and understanding of this subject and its relation to archaeology and the origins and evolution of man for a number of years. It appears that Professor Roberts herself evolved into this role from her early career as a doctor, qualifying from the University of Wales College of Medicine in 1997, and subsequently going on to work as a junior doctor in a role which would now be known as a foundation year or programme doctor in the NHS in South Wales, before moving to the Department of Anatomy at the University of Bristol School of Medicine, where she became an anatomy demonstrator and subsequently lecturer. Professor Roberts completed a PhD in paleopathology, the study of disease in ancient human remains, and during this time became increasingly involved in teaching in Bristol in subjects including clinical anatomy, embryology and physical anthropology, as well as researching osteoarchaeology and paleopathology. In many ways, these subjects might seem traditionally to be rather dry and academic, and perhaps not rich areas for the basis of an increasingly high-profile parallel career in broadcasting. It is Professor Roberts' remarkable ability to project, explain, and through a blend of expertise and enthusiasm, bring life and excitement to these subjects, which has inspired increased public understanding and engagement. This has been mainly through a rapidly developing portfolio of contributions as a television presenter, initially as part of the Time team in 2001, with many subsequent appearances as both a specialist in bone archaeology and anatomy and as a general presenter on the series and associated programs such as Extreme Archaeology. Professor Roberts has also subsequently participated as an expert presenter in a number of other series, including Horizon, Coast, The Incredible Human Journey, and numerous other documentaries, such as Digging for Britain, Prehistoric Autopsy, and the intriguing Is Your Brain Male or Female? In addition to her contributions to broadcasting, Professor Roberts has also produced a series of scientific publications and books which help to explain evolution and anatomy to the widest possible audience. These include in 2014, The Incredible Unlikeliness of Being, which was shortlisted for the Wellcome Book Prize in 2015. Chancellor, in studying Professor Roberts' remarkable career in preparation for this presentation, I tried to identify the key influences in her life, which have led to this most unusual and successful career path. I noted that at the young age of 15, Alice was the winner of the BBC One Blue Peter Young Artist of the Year competition. This was recognised by an appearance on the front cover of the Radio Times. It's hard to imagine that this level of public adoration was not a major influence on the young Alice Roberts. I suspect that her choice of becoming an anatomy demonstrator was influenced by a desire to train in surgery, as this was and still is a common career choice for young doctors wishing to be surgeons. I noticed that Professor Roberts married an archaeologist in 1997, and I wonder whether this was a further influence on her emerging passion for anatomy and archaeology. However, I am most convinced by the rapidly increasing involvement in teaching, which is clearly a passion for Professor Roberts, and the most likely explanation for her subsequent career development. Whatever the influences which resulted in Professor Roberts' current position, we can count ourselves fortunate to have such a powerful role model for women and men to become more engaged in science and medicine, as well as celebrating the undoubted contribution that Professor Roberts has made to increasing the understanding and engagement of the broader public in science, and also many much less visible contributions through advisory boards and science communication awarding bodies. Chancellor, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Medicine, honoris causa, Alice Roberts.
Thank you very much, Professor Reid. I'm absolutely delighted and honoured to be here. Chancellor, fellow Avengers, new graduates and postgraduates, congratulations. This is really your day, and I'm so delighted and so honoured to be here sharing it with you. I want to take you back in time, of course, 1.5 million years ago, to the banks of a lake in Africa. And a young man sits down at the banks of this lake, and he has been ill for some time. His breathing is shallow. He is very, very tired. He sits down by the lake, and as the sun sets, he lies his head on the ground. He closes his eyes for the last time. And somehow his body didn't get scavenged by predators. Somehow the lake waters rose and covered it with sediment and silt. And as his corpse rotted away, his bones became fossilized. And in 1984, his skeleton was discovered, a 1.5 million year old skeleton. It is the best, still the best, the most intact skeleton that we have of a species called Homo ergaster, or African Homo erectus. And he was different from earlier species. He looked different. He didn't have the short legs and the long arms of the more ape-like ancestors that came before him. He had long legs, and there are other features of his skeleton which suggest that he was adapted for endurance running, that running was so important to our ancestors at that time, perhaps to allow them to get meat on the savannah, that natural selection had worked on those features, that anyone who could run a bit better had a survival advantage. But he did something else. He and his kin made things, really beautiful things, actually. So previous to Homo erectus, our ancestors had been making stone tools for about 1 million years. They'd been chipping stones together, and they'd been getting stone flakes and probably using that to cut meat off bones. But with Homo erectus, we get something quite extraordinary. We find the first hand axes, and these are beautiful stone tools. They're teardrop shaped. Some of them are huge, but they're a very definite shape. And for me, this marks a watershed moment in human evolution, because that stone tool represents, for me, the beginnings of the emergence of the modern mind. To make a tool like that, you have to choose very carefully the stone that you're going to use. And you have to have an image of what it is you're going to make in your head. You have to have an abstract thought. You know you're going to make a hand axe, and you know you're going to get it out of this lump of stone. It's a bit like Michelangelo looking at that block of marble, standing there with his chisel and knowing that David is inside it. So you turn that abstract thought into reality. That's an extraordinary thing. That marks us out from all the other animals on this planet, being able to do this. But there's something else about hand axes. I've tried to make one, and it is extraordinarily difficult. I just had a go. I looked at a hand axe, and I had a go at making one. And I made a complete pig's ear out of it. I couldn't do it. And then I sat down with a paleoanthropologist and expert napper, Rick Potts, in Africa, and he taught me to make a hand axe. He slowed down the process so I could see how to do it. And he taught me bit by bit. He demonstrated to me how to do it. And I was very proud to make my own hand axe. So teaching was absolutely crucial to me learning how to make this thing. I would have got there eventually, but it would have taken a lot longer. And teaching is something, again, which really marks us out, because a teacher has to do this incredible human trick of mind reading. We don't just treat other people like objects. We know they have minds. We call this theory of mind in psychology. And a teacher has to imagine what it is the learner doesn't know in order to help the learner to learn. It's quite an extraordinary trick when you think about it. And it's the basis of everything that you've been doing at university in the last few years, this complex interplay between teaching and learning. Now, this young man who died 1.5 million years ago, who's called Narukatomi Boy, didn't have much time to learn, and in fact, he died very young, even younger than it looks, in fact, on the surface, because his skeleton looks like that of a 15-year-old, but our best guess at his actual age when he died is that he was 8 years old. He was 8 years old, but he was almost fully grown. His species hadn't yet developed the extended childhood and adolescence that we enjoy. And the whole reason for that extended childhood and adolescence is not just delaying physical maturation, it allows you to spend more time learning. And then, of course, even when we're adult, we don't stop learning. And that is what today is about. It's about the power of learning and a milestone in your lives, all of you new graduates and postgraduates. It's a milestone in your lives. It's the mark of a fantastic few years of hard work, and it's a real achievement. And my 5-year-old daughter brings home her artwork from school, and I am so proud of her when she does that. It's the best picture last week of a seashore with a pink fish in it I have ever seen in my life. So I can't imagine how proud all you families are today. It's a really, really important and wonderful day. And as far as all you graduates and postgraduates are concerned, you've finished learning. You can go out now into the world. You've stopped learning, and now it's time to apply what you've learned. Of course not. That would be utterly ridiculous. Whatever you end up doing, you're going to carry on learning throughout your entire lives. And I really hope and I believe, having spoken to some of your teachers and understanding that their passion for teaching and learning, that your time at Sussex has not just been about gathering new information, gathering knowledge and gathering skills. It's also been about developing your love of learning. And that is something that will stay with you for the rest of your lives. Never stop learning. Thank you.
By the authority of the Senate and the University Council, it gives me great pride to bestow upon you the degree Doctor of Medicine honoris causa. Congratulations.
I call upon the Dean of the Brighton and Sussex Medical School, Professor Malcolm Reed.
Chancellor, I will now present to you for the degree of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, James Akar. Robert Alexander. Nurlila Asnawar. Mosiopi Atiba. Natalie Atwood. Nurul Aziz. Matthew Ball. Nyasha Bangur. Sophie Banks. Esther Benjamin. Abigail Brown. Kate Buchanan. Laura Bullock. Matthew Cadd. Alice Campion. Fiona Carmichael. Amy Carolyn. Grace Castronovo. Darlene Chamles. Elizabeth Chan. Abigail Chatterton. Jordan Chevenkov. James Chivers. Samuel Cole. Victoria Collis. Robert Cunliffe. Eleanor Denny. Katie Dishard Head. Lucy Diss. Fiona Doan. Amber Daherty. Nicholas Dragalia. Alastair Duncan. Blair Dunlop. Sarah Dyball. Well done. Rebecca Edwards. Lucy Elliott. Omalola Fakoya Sayers. Alison Farley. Natalie Farmer. Amna Ghafoor. Also awarded the Professor Alasdair Smith Prize for the Best Performance in the Programme overall, Tina Gaylor. Holly Gilbert. Jonathan Golding. Amy Goodhind. Ashvarishi Gopal. Bethany Greenwood. Also awarded the second prize in the Royal College of General Practitioners South East and South West Faculty's Student Prize for General Practice at BSMS, Georgina Grigg. Peter Hardy. James Harley. Also awarded the Brighton and Hove Charitable Youth Trust Prize for Outstanding Personal Achievement, Kaylee Hart. Lois Hawkins. Jacob Howells. Well done. William Johnson. Richard Kingsley. Thomas Kirker. Also jointly awarded the first prize in the Royal College of General Practitioners South East and South West Faculty's Student Prize for General Practice at BSMS, Catherine Latty. Helen Leach. Harriet Martin. Daniel Michalik. Matthew Milmine. Samuel Milne. Michael Modell. Fatin Mohammed Najib. Nohanis Mohammed Rafi. Nick Moody. Joanna Moore. Rachel Morris. Jennifer Mullen. Joshua Parker. Yumi Patel. Krupali Patel. Nisha Patel. Hannah Pleasance. Steve Mayureen Rajadurai. Tom Ratcliffe Law. Edward Reeks. Jennifer Reed. Alice Roberts. Emma Robertson. Stephen Robinson. Jessica Rutherford. Also jointly awarded the first prize in the Royal College of General Practitioners South East and South West Faculty Student Prize for General Practice at BSMS, Daisy Ryan. Jake Scott. Lydia Sargent. William Schreier. Smriti Sinmai. Thomas Snell. Sophie Stokes. Julian T. Also awarded the Dean's Prize for the best contribution to the student body and university life, Sarah Thornley. Eleanor Thornton. Levar Thorson. Louise Ting. Rosemary Tucker. Kelly Valence. Maithri Vipulananthan. Talia Walter. Ryan Wang. Holly Warder. Michal Vronsky. Also awarded the Dean's Prize for the Best Performance in Year 5, Florence Wedmore. Well done. Jonathan Weiler. Mariana Williams. Mubasha Yaqub. Also awarded the Dean's Prize for the most significant contribution to the community, Paul Young. Well done. Chancellor, I will now present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for the thesis Patient Representation and the Research Agenda in Neurodegenerative Disease, Anna Grinberg-Saul. Well done. For the thesis The Spatial Epidemiology of Podoconiosis in Northern Ethiopia, Jordanis Mola. Well done. For the thesis, the role of the exonuclease Pacman XRN1 in wing development in Drosophila, Joseph Waldron. Hang on. Not now. Chancellor, that concludes the list of graduands from the Brighton and Sussex Medical School.
I call upon Professor Lawrence Pearl, Head of the School of Life Sciences, to present Professor Dame Janet Thornton.
Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present Professor Dame Janet Thornton, a pioneer of bioinformatics. In the early 1980s, when lots of you lot weren't born and I was a young researcher, we knew the DNA sequences of about a few hundred genes, and we knew just a couple of dozen of the three-dimensional structures of the proteins that those genes encoded. Whole careers could be spent just in detailed analysis of just one of those proteins in isolation. Against this background, Janet Thornton and her colleagues realized that there was a huge amount of additional insight to be gained by comparing these individual protein structures and using what they found to define how protein structures had evolved and how the myriad biological functions that constitute life as we know it emerges from those protein structures. Over 2 decades working at Birkbeck College and then at University College London, Janet built the methodologies and infrastructure to achieve a huge synthesis of knowledge, bringing together concepts from biology, genetics, chemistry, mathematics, and computer science to create an entirely new discipline that we now recognize as bioinformatics. In 2001, Janet became the founding director of the European Bioinformatics Institute, the EBI, at Hinxton near Cambridge, which over the last 15 years has become the world's leading centre for bioinformatics research and the main custodian of that growing database of genetic information. As of yesterday, we, the scientific community at large, have available DNA sequences for more than 243 million genes from 18,000 different organisms and the detailed atomic structures of 35,554, I looked it up yesterday, of the proteins that these genes encode. We can freely access and analyze all of this information in an instant, thanks to the sophisticated databases and analysis tools that Janet and her colleagues at EBI have developed and made freely available to the research community. The implications of this data for all aspects of the life and medical sciences are staggering, and it underpins the promise of genetically personalized and stratified medicine in the coming years. Professor Thornton has been widely recognized for her outstanding contributions to bioinformatics. She's a Fellow of the Royal Society and of the Academy of Medical Sciences, and a Foreign Associate of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States. She was selected by the Times newspaper as one of the Eureka 100 most influential scientists in the UK and was made a Dane Commander of the British Empire in 2012. On a personal note, Janet has been a great colleague and friend to me over many years, and we actually have a few things in common. Not least, we both come from Bury in Lancashire, a little recognised hothouse of scientific excellence, which is perhaps more famous for its extremely delicious black puddings, which I strongly recommend. Chancellor, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, Professor Dame Janet Thornton.
By the authority of the Senate and the University Council, it gives me great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Many congratulations.
Chancellor, members of staff, graduates, and ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to say what a privilege it is for me to be here today to play a part in such a great and very happy ceremony. I have to say I've never been to a graduation ceremony like it, and I congratulate the staff and you all for making it such a joy. It really is an honour to receive this degree from Sussex. And thank you, Lawrence, for your kind words. The University of Sussex really is a great university. When I was at school and wondering where to apply to, I nearly came to Sussex. It was one of the brand new universities, rather radical, and I think it's maintained that radicalism, which is great. But it's a great university not just for the teaching, the production, if you like, of all of the teaching materials and the teaching that you all have received over the last 3 or 4 years, but also because of the research. And I think I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but could I ask you, I think we've thanked the parents, you've praised each other, but I think you need to really say thank you to all the staff who have really seen you through the last 3 or 4 years. So first of all, could I ask the staff to stand up, please? All of the staff who've been there at 9 o'clock in the morning giving lectures. Come on, raise it up. Well done. I'm sure there are some difficult students here. I suspect there might be. So well done for all the work that you've done. So my own professional life has been spent as a research scientist, trying to understand more about the structures of proteins, as Lawrence explained. For me, it's really been a very rewarding career, leading in directions that I never envisaged at the beginning. I actually started out as a physicist and somehow stumbled into the world of molecular biology. And the progress in this area, as Lawrence enunciated, since I graduated, can only be described as spectacular. The first human genome was determined in 2001, and now it's likely that at least the graduates will all have your genome sequenced during your lifetimes. This is a phenomenal advance, and hopefully it will begin to unravel the diversity of life and also the basis of the different diseases and aging, so that we can really age more healthily. And so I think that this area of research that many of you have been learning about over the last 3 or 4 years is a fantastic area. And I do encourage you, as Alice said, to carry on learning about it, because the advances over the next 10 years will be even greater, I think, than they have been. So formally, graduating is defined as to move up to something more advanced. So, graduates and postgraduates, this day really is a landmark in your lives. You're here, successful. Some of you probably relieved that you got here, and stunned that you actually passed your exams and obtained your degree. But what you probably didn't realize when you started out was the demands that it would place on you as individuals, on your character, your relationships, and your very approach to the world around you. So what's brought you to this point? Hard work, certainly, perseverance, sacrifice, and also having a goal that you've been striving to reach. All of these things will fit you very well for your future lives. And of course, you also need to acknowledge that it's not just your efforts, but the support of your parents, partners, and friends, and we've already thanked them. But turning to them for a minute, for you also, parents and partners and friends, this is the end of years, many years for some of you, of hard work and devotion. And there's no doubt that without your help, few of the graduates would be sitting here enjoying their success. So in many ways, graduation marks the transition from being dependent to being independent, both emotionally and financially, or at least I suspect that is your hope. However, in my experience, it doesn't always work out like that. And it sometimes takes several years after university for students to find their career paths. And for you and your offspring, the next few years could well be one of the most difficult times. The future may not be clear, and I hesitate to say, but your support may well be needed for a few more years yet. So, graduates, you're carrying the future on your shoulders. Each and every one of you can make a difference as individuals and in your professional lives to improve the society that we live in. You'll go out to the UK and around the world into many different occupations and face many different challenges. But your memories of Sussex will always be there as the place you received your education, the place you made friends who laughed and cried with you, and the place you experienced life together. This education, these experiences, and those friends will give you a firm foundation for the future. The world is a tough place, but you've certainly started off in the right way. So, to conclude, I'd just like to congratulate all of you and your families, and I hope that you will enjoy the rest of this very special day. Thank you.
Chancellor, I present to you graduates who were unable to graduate earlier with their schools of study. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biology, Demetrios Sideris. Well done. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Science, Jeshua de Tenorio. Congratulations. For the degree of Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, Ali Surin. Congratulations, Ali. Chancellor, this is the moment in the proceedings when you just take a few seconds just to think whether you believe you've received sufficient love during this ceremony to award the degrees. I mean, from my point of view, I don't want to influence you, looked pretty good from where I was sitting.
I have to say that the myth about the reservation of scientists and med school students has just been blown out of the water.
So it sounds like a yes.
Yes.
Chancellor, you have now met all the graduates being presented to you at this ceremony, and the moment has come for the formal conferral of degrees of the University of Sussex. I therefore ask you to confer their degrees on those presented to you and to the other graduates who have indicated their wish to graduate in absentia at this ceremony.
I formally confer degrees on all those just mentioned by the Vice-Chancellor. Congratulations, you've done it. Well done. Well, that went well, didn't it? Congratulations, everyone, and including our honoris causas, and thank you for your wise words about the importance of learning. Well done, family and friends, by the way. Some of you were truly embarrassing. Respect. So, graduates, as your time here at Sussex draws to a close, we hope that you will keep us in your hearts and your thoughts and remain connected with us as alumni, and perhaps be guides and fonts of experience for future graduates at the university. Whether your next step is gainful employment, the search for it, further academic study, or simply some time out, I wish you the very best. In closing the ceremony, the Chancellor of the University is supposed to say something inspiring or impart some wisdom. You got me. The word wisdom and I are only connected by the word tooth. So I'm kind of sorely underqualified to provide you with any, but I'll chuck a few observations your way. Some of them are mine, and the really good ones aren't. And you can do with that as you please. It strikes me that, obviously, none of us can be unaware of how much strife there seems to be around the world, whether it's ideological, it's financial, whatever kind, but it's inevitably divisive, and it can be pretty depressing just watching the news sometimes. You get this barrage of bad news. But I saw a wonderful tweet not that long ago, and this was by Mr. Fred Rogers, an American educator who had a kids show on American TV for about 30 years, and he said, when I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I'm always comforted by realizing there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in the world. All of you graduates, hello, good night everyone. Hello, and that's usually a sign to get off, isn't it? Well, I'm not yet. As I was about to say, all of you graduates here today, by coming to this place of learning, and hopefully some fun as well, are the shining example to me always of how the world can be, that differences can be respected, altercations can be settled through discourse, and a disagreement doesn't need to be interpreted as an attack on your very soul. My mother used to tell me, an insult is only an insult once you've chosen to accept it as an insult. You stupid, talentless sack of... She didn't, obviously, she didn't say the last bit, obviously. Obviously, she didn't. So that, your time here at Sussex, for me, is the best illustration that the human race is a race that can only be won together. There's also that thing that sits in front of us, particularly on a day like this, which many people regard with some fear, the future. You hear a lot of think of the future. What about your future? Plan for the future. And actually, there's nothing wrong with any of those unless it leads to a fear of the future, because the fear leads to a paralysis in the present. And ultimately, it is just a fear of the unknown. And one thing that we can all agree on is that the future is unpredictable. It isn't written yet. You write it. You get to write it. Just to draw on my own experience, at 30, and I suppose this goes to the point that Janet was making about families having to look after you for a little while longer. When I was 30, I found myself in debt, having sued my then employers for breach of contract. And I was embroiled in a court case, which meant I couldn't find work for about 2 years of any kind. And that was at 30. And by 33, I'd changed careers and was, to my utter shock, in an award-winning TV show and embarking on the most fantastical life and career. And my point is that even sort of, a year, 2 years prior to that, I couldn't have predicted it. It was utterly unpredictable. And going back further, again, Dame Janet said that she almost came to Sussex. Well, some of you may know that Sussex was my first choice when I was applying for universities. I didn't get in. Apparently, my grades weren't good enough. So I took my business elsewhere. That taught them. And I waited. And I waited until all those who had prevented me from getting in had either retired, been deported, were in prison, or had become just plain dead. And I got back in as Chancellor. And my point being, na 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 na, and also utterly unpredictable. I mean, the kind of disappointment I felt when I didn't get in, I couldn't have envisaged this today. So when I look back at my 20s or even my teens, I no longer see a period of abject failure as I did then. I see now an unconscious gathering of experiences that have enabled me to make better informed decisions. I also see an education in life matters and relationships that have highlighted to me the value of friendships and the importance of choosing those that I surround myself with. I now surround myself with as many successful people as I can. And I don't mean money, because one day you can have it and one day you can't. It's kind of inconsistent. And to me, the successful people are the ones who have worked out a way to express their compassion and their humanity, no matter what situation they find themselves in. As Maya Angelou, the great American poet, said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget the way you made them feel. And through that, I now realize that I was not the loser I thought I was back then, or indeed as other people suggested I was back then. I was success in waiting. I just didn't know it. And through that, I've learned not to define myself, and I hope you don't either, to define yourself by a bad day. That's not who you are. A bad week, a bad month, or even a bad year. I had a bad decade once, but I came out of it. I totally believe that we are always, always, always defined by what we do next. Our next decision is who we are. And we're all creative. You know, that's the other thing. You know, therefore, we can create a better self every day, every hour, every minute, every second. So don't skimp on your dreams or your creativity. Einstein said, logic can take you from A to B. Your imagination can take you anywhere. And as an illustration of that, we have that when we're really young. There's a really lovely story that I like about a little girl who was drawing in class. And the teacher said, what's that you're drawing? And the little girl said, I'm drawing God. And the teacher said, well, that's very interesting because nobody knows what God looks like. And the little girl said, they will in a minute. We have that ability. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just make sure that they're new ones every time, because the person who keeps making the same mistake over and over and over again is an idiot. And be generous about other people's mistakes. You know, somebody might have the solution to a really vital problem that could change your life or change the planet, and they could be wrong about everything else. So hear them out. And have the courage of your convictions, which means to me, have the courage to allow your conviction to be tested, allow others to pull it apart and punch it full of holes so you can know it better. If someone puts forward an argument that reveals your conviction to be incomplete, modify your principle. Don't be afraid to change it, adapt. It won't be the defeat of your conviction, it'll be the evolution of it. And also be solution-led. You know, it's kind of, I try to do that myself. If any kind of situation comes up, I try to work out what the solution is. And I'm sure, as you've already experienced, sometimes that's really difficult. And I'm reminded of a great little story that was used in a film. And it's about two mice that fell into a bowl of cream and couldn't get out. And one of the mice just thought, it's just impossible. I mean, I can't get out of this. And just gave up and drowned. And the other mouse kind of thrashed around and splashed and thrashed and tried and thrashed and all that until all the cream had been churned into butter and just stepped out of the bowl. Sometimes the struggle is the solution. So don't skimp on that either. I leave you with some quotes. Winston Churchill said, if you find yourself in hell, keep going. And a poignant one from Alexander Graham Bell, who said that when one door closes, another door opens, but we so often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the ones that open for us. So try to look forward. And finally, from Charles M. Schulz, who created the Peanuts cartoon, who said, stop worrying about the world ending today. It's already tomorrow in Australia. So, my friends, yesterday is for archivists, tomorrow is for fortune tellers, but today belongs to you. I believe that we can only build a fabulous tomorrow on the foundations of a great today. And thank you, really, really thank you for the honor of allowing me to play a small part in your great today. Be creative, dream big, be kind, never, ever, ever give up. I wish you all happiness and good fortune in everything you do. I officially declare this graduation closed.
Thank you.